Now we start with our evening program. Maria Dejanovic, please, and Ralph Hamatala. Some of our daughters could not come, but we make very good exchange with Ralph today, because Ralph Hamatala is one of the founders of our Splitter Association. We founded Runa Bebic, professor of this academy, Edi Matic, Tanja Radmilov, who today moderated, Ralph Hamatala and myself. We founded it 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I don't know what. And Ralph is a very old friend of the Balkans. We met in Pristina, and we split, and in Pristina again, and this year in September again in Pristina and in Berlin. But he's very often in Balkans. He wrote also a novel about Albanian women, a feminist terroristic organization.
Anarchist.
Anarchist, yes. And he's really friend of this region, and he writes very often with very many, also with understanding. So as I said, I'm very proud of my Germans. Maria Dejanovic, she is now based in Greece. She lives in Greece. She's from actually from Bosnia, from Prijedor. She lived in Croatia. She grew up in Croatia in Sisak, but now she is in Larissa, Greece, and is somehow also a partner of Splittera, because as we were searching for somebody in Greece, because we need, of course, Greece on our mapping, Maria helped us. She gave us contacts with Greece poets and authors, and we have very good contributions from Greece. And now she represents Greece somehow today evening. She was just in Berlin at Poetry Festival, and is translated in different languages. She was awarded as a young poet with several awards in Croatia, and she's also published in Greece and in Croatia, and is one of the, in the moment, biggest hope of Croatian poetry, I would say.
I hope it's like
yes,
that.
We hope you make it, you will make it.
Thank you
So, Maria.
Hello everyone. I will read 2 poems from my latest book, Dobrota razdvaja dan i noć, Kindness Separates Day and Night. The first one is Pravilne linije.
Okay.
Žuta tromost dolaska, plodova drveća, jabuka, krušaka, izniknula je iz kamena, ukopanog kao peta, isplivala iz vode. Svoje voće žuto i pojavljuje se samo u naznakama. Debljina podneva prilazi nam kao pitumi vlak, redovito, s blagim odstupanjima, i upozorava nas da moramo biti oprezne, blago nasmiješene, čiste površine i metalnog, zagrijanog srca, spremne da motikom zatučemo bjelouške i u pretrazi prevrnemo svaki kamen. Ona ima vatrostalne ruke, skriva ih u pečnici kao zmija noge, isteže vrat, tjeme i bradu, slijedeći pravilne linije. Prati na nebu male ožiljke, ispuštene iz stražnice aviona. Ne može se na mene oteći, ne može mi saznati ime. Cijenice su nam fiksirane, uokvirene trepavicama koje kalibriraju kao pupoljci svibanjski, pogledom ispraćaju noge i glave. Tako sam sretna što te imam. Ukrala si dio auta, samo da ga ne može niko voziti i sad auto stopiraš, misleći što li mi je sve to trebalo. Travnati ti jezik skriva laži, slatke ljetne preinake kako bi me više voljela. Kad u ustima topiš moje ime, zaklela bi se da je to neko drugo ime. Kad mi ustima ljubiš obraz, zaklela bi se da to nije moj obraz.
Ralph Hammerthaler, a very good friend of us, studied in Munich, Berlin and Vienna, and wrote a dissertation in sociology and political public spheres. He's a writer in feuilletons for different very famous German newspapers, magazines, and he wrote opera libretti, stories, essays, novels. And the problem with Ralph is that he has so many books that I have on near my desk some books of Ralph as you have to read them, but I cannot come with this time because every year is a new novel, a new book from Ralph and a new important book.
Since October, the next one.
Yes, I know. That is the problem with him. It's only problem with him. Yes, and he writes also for the theater, very, very renowned theater journal, Theater der Zeit. And in the last number, and thank you, Ralph, I received it per post. He wrote an essay named "In which language do you dream, Alida?" And it was for me. Yes. It is so a love story between us. In Theater der Zeit, I'm very proud of it. Please, Ralph.
This will be a double premiere. First premiere, this is my first reading in English. And to be honest, I'm not good enough for it. Second premiere is that this is my first reading without rehearsal. So, but I hope that I'm drunk enough to manage it somehow. So, today I've told you about this book, stories about refugees in Berlin. This was a connection between 8 writers and 18 refugees. And I wrote 3 stories for this book. The book is called Baba, Turkish language, Arabic language means daddy. Baba, wie lange fahren wir noch? Baba, how long do we go? And I was very keen on writing about a woman because a woman's story in escaping is different to a man's story. And I read only a small part in English from this story which took place at the Mediterranean when she is across the sea from Turkey to Greece. Greek island. The story is called The Middle Sister. The middle sister is in between the elder one, who is already in Sweden, and the younger one, who is in Iran. Oh, I can't read German. The middle sister. In a barge, they were to be taken to a Greek island. This barge had a leak, so they went over with planks with small bowls or bare hands, collected water and poured it into the sea. Nesrine squatted on backpacks, as did a pregnant woman next to her. She was careful not to bump her. She carried the cell phone wrapped in plastic between her breasts.
1 week we could present much more from all our guests, so we have regrettably short time. You saw our 2 guests, Senka and Ines, these 2 days, but Nebojša you don't know, so I will first present Nebojša. He's in meantime a very famous author from Croatia. We met 15 years ago or so. He was in his beginnings and with his first novel then. And from distance, from Germany, I saw similar like Ralph. So each year, new book. Nebojša is also very, very productive. He was born in 81 in Novi Travnik in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and he's a writer and scholar and marathon runner. And we are friends also in Facebook, and sometimes I see photos from marathon.
See me dying.
So he's, and he wrote a book about marathon, as a marathoner. But he wrote books about so many things, so I cannot explain everything. But he's literary scholar and teacher too, and he wrote novels and fiction and fiction. Also, he published also studies. He was also an amateur rower, so really sporting author. And in Split, he was also director of Pričini Festival. You hear today about it. It's a storytelling festival. So he's very, very involved also in culture of the country. And he's also between Bosnia and Croatia today. You teach in Bosnia or not?
I was teaching 2 years ago, but I play for this team that pays the most. So I paid today to play Croatian, but I can play Bosnian too today if you need.
Also on streets, and you know, they behave like in theater. Very often, it is really Mediterranean art to behave. So it's difficult then to write a plays about it.
I'm practicing that myself. Because Bosnian people are too quiet for them, too quiet, too stiff. They want everything exaggerated. I'm so happy that I could kill someone. I'm so angry that I could kill someone. So when I said this, the mother-in-law said, "Do you like food?" So I said, "Yes, it's nice." I knew it, it's awful, and she froze everything, so I said, it is so beautiful, crazy, and I should start dancing, because...
As someone from your family wrote here,
Oh no!
I don't know, so freedom to speak about it.
It's common, they used to it, and Eddie told me that he's not taping this no video.
In front of you.
Okay, double.
He zoomed in on you.
You are very young. That was 81, born 81, and Ines also. Ines
82.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not 48.
I just wanted to say it. I want to say Ines is much more younger than you. She's born in 82 in Tunisia. She's Tunisian poet, children's writer, translator, and novelist. And she published also very many books. But, imamo mikrofon, može? And also she is a winner of very many prizes. Was awarded for Tunisian Poetry Prize, then Poems of Bordeaux Prize. She's also the author of the collections of short stories, Tales of Korea and Scheherazade. I didn't understand why you were all over the world, because you told us you were in Korea and in Saudi Arabia and in France and Italy. So maybe you can tell us why you were as a journalist or as a writer.
I have to answer.
No. Maybe I tell some words more and then you can tell us. And her work has been published has been translated into English, French, Korean, Danish, and Swedish. So she was also the executive publisher of the Little Bee House. And she published a number of children's books.
It started by choosing to study mathematics because to have my money, my salary, because the church will not pay my bills, etc., etc. Except that I never used that diploma. I followed my writing dreams, and then I got my first job because my brother in France met my first boss, who was a guy of theater, was so motivated. He's a Lebanese guy, And my brother gave him my book. He never read my book, my brother. He's like walking around in France. My sister just published one book, and the other guy, oh, this is the cover. I know the painter, and blah, blah, blah. And I got a job. So I started as cultural, I don't know how to say it in English. I make the cultural programs, and I started from UAE, from a small city there. 2 months, after 2 months, I got an invitation from South of Korea to spend 6 months. So I left the job. Again, I followed so it's Korea, it's 6 months, it's another culture, another experience, and I will have an apartment and salary, small salary or smaller amount to survive there without thinking about how I will get money, etc., etc. So I went there to translate a book, but then I wrote a book about Korea. It's so rich as a country and a culture, so you can't to not write. لوحة بنزرت. لو كنت محظوظة وخلقت من جديد بشراً، حيوانا، نباتا أو حجرا. لو كنت محظوظة وخلقت من جديد بشراً، حيوانا، نباتا أو حجرا، لاخترت أن أكون نهراً رقراقاً تتقافز الأسماك في مياهه بمرح، وتلمع الأحجار المنساء في قاعه مثل أسرار غامضة. لو عدت في حياة أخرى لاخترت أن أكون شجرة زيتون مزروعة في بنزرت. لا يهم أين سيكون منبتي، في حقل زيتون أو أمام بيت على حافة رصيف.
Senka Maric comes from Bosnia and Herzegovina, from the city of Mostar. We heard today about it. And she is a poet, writer, essayist, editor. She had published 3 books of poetry and a novel, Body Kintsugi. We heard today about it.
And another one, this summer.
Yes, this summer. But this is translated in German recently.
Yes.
And it was very, very good received in the first moment. I read some critics, and it's really great. And also in Croatia, the critics are, I think. She has received a few awards for her writing, and today we heard also about this famous, prestigious award, Nesha Selimovic, for the writers who write in all these 4 languages, Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian, Montenegrin, for the best published novel in this region. And yes, some of the works are translated into several languages. And it's also very important to tell that she's editor-in-chief of online literary magazine Strane.ba. And we hear today that also the authors from the whole region publish there. So that is very interesting. Please.
Thank you. Okay, I decided actually to read a short chapter from the book we mentioned today, Body Kintsugi. And of course I don't have the book with me, but Eddie was kind enough to print it. Četvrti je dan 5. kemoterapije. Do jučer je išlo nekako. Do poslijepodneva si mislila da si ovaj put jača, da te neće slomiti. Zatim polako kreneš propadati u ambis, u nešto crno i ljepljivo što ti brka misli do neprepoznatljivosti i ne da disati. Ni za što se ne uspijevaš uhvatiti. Opiranje možda samo malo usporava taj slobodan pad. Potušen si, ovila si ruke oko sebe, puštaš vodu da udara po potiljku. Gledaš kapljice kako se pretaču jedna u drugu, klize preko nadlaktica čineći isprekidanu rijeku sve do poda. Umiruje te dodir vode. Nešto u tom otjecanju uvjeravate da život ne može stati. Sada, potušen, sklopiš oči. Osjetiš iz kože ti izbija krljušt, Tijelo je kliko i klizavo, iz ruku smrti iskliznut ćeš lako.
Thank you, Senka, very much. I'm happy that we can read it in German. Yes, and that was that. Now we are going to Maru's library jazz bar. I was never there, but Eddie and another Wilma, and so they know. It is not far away from
No, it's
here.
not far away.
So
It's very
okay,
close, actually,
that was-
5 minutes.
to finish our festival. Yes, thank you all. I'm really sad that we have to say bye, but we do it in Jazz Bar, literary bar. Thank you.